Within this lesson, we're going to be talking about the different scope options that are available in object-oriented programming. So the scope options, there's essentially three different ones. There's public, private, and protected. And in the last lesson we had looked at, we had a variable that we were defining, property that we were defining, and we just had it defined as a value, and then we were returning and using that value within there. So if you notice, there's actually a shorter way to do that, so we didn't have to go through this method, and we could just simply take this public class and return that, create the new object, and then use that object and access that public class variable and return that as output into our PHP code. So when we take a look at the output, we see that it is actually in fact outputting that information that was available within the class. So available within the object, and it's accessible. And that's because it's defined as public. The scope is defined as public, and that makes your variable function available from anywhere, other classes and instances of that object. So essentially what that means is that as long as we've got an object, we can always get access to public properties, just as we've done within this example. And the reason that we were able to access the function is by default, it's going to default to be a public method that's available within this object. So it's the same thing as going public and then calling to that method, and our output should still be the same, and it is still the same thing. So whether you're using a method or a property, by default it's going to be declared public, and that's what gives us that access when we create the object and we get access to the values in there. So in the next lessons, we're going to look at what happens when you go private and protected, and we're going to get a little bit more detail about those.